Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of a podcast about movies, TV shows, video games, and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar B, one of your hosts today. With me per usual, the whole gang is here. We got Alex, the Brawn slash the Dad, Brian, the Beard slash New Reliable slash the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative on a Dragon Ball Z Redemption arc, and Devin, also known as the Brain slash Mr. Nowhere. Hello, everyone. We're all here.
True
What's
four.
good?
Quad.
True four.
We're full party, baby. If this was an
Full
RPG
power.
game,
Oh, yeah.
none of us need a Phoenix down. We're all alive.
Let's go.
Well, okay, so out of the four of us, because most games you're only allowed to have three people. Who's the sub? Who's the Donald?
Ooh.
Damn, who's the Donald? I
a good
mean, if we're gonna go by showing up, Alex would probably be the Donald.
I would definitely be showing. You're right. Definitely showing. MVP over here.
I think I want Brian A1 because he
That's
played
hilarious.
Professionally, and I think he's going to be good in any game.
That's a good point.
I
So
appreciate
he's
that.
definitely team captain there.
Team captain. Oh shit.
Alex, I think you are the Donald just because you are also the wizard.
Oh.
I don't like
Yeah.
this analogy. Let's move on.
The good news is
All
Donald
right,
is
all right.
the second strongest mage in all of the Final Fantasy world.
I think I subbed out
Is it?
Goofy most of the time, actually.
Interesting.
No, that's-
Nah, man, Donald every
Yeah.
single time. He wastes my mana and my potions. Fuck that idiot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
All right, yes, listeners, it's the four of us. We are all here for another go at this.
Woohoo.
Before we head into our first segment of the week, don't forget you can skip spoilers and check time codes if you want to skip any sections or go to something you really want to listen about. It's all in the show notes down there. With that, though, guys, should we just get straight to it and get to our first segment of the week?
Yeah.
News talk.
Sad hours.
Oh.
Which this is, I think so far this year it's been just sad news. Oh, fucking.
Yeah,
This
just
whole
don't call
time,
it
every
news hour
fucking week.
anymore. Just sad hours.
Yeah, honestly, yes.
I mean, the news is sad usually.
True.
First piece of news this week, listeners. This Sony announced that this was in a blog post that they are having a significant round of layoffs, which basically 900 staff members, which is about 8% of their global workforce. Fuck, man.
That's a big number.
I would love to bet that they saw Microsoft just dump, what was it, like 1,100 or 1,500 people or whatever it was, and they were like, yeah, we won't look as terrible. 900's nowhere near them.
I think the craziest thing is doing it after the holidays where people have probably spent a lot of money on their families and traveled and stuff like that.
Right.
Because it's like that really feels shitty. And that's usually where, if you're gonna get laid off, it's usually before the holidays. So usually if you make it past that, you're like, there's the safety.
I'm
They said, psych.
Mhm.
We've talked about this. Obviously, we had a whole like episode kind of going into the reasons why this kind of has been happening. It's
Right.
still just really sad and shocking that the big companies struggle with it. It always will kind of make sense with like the AA companies or even like the indie companies.
Mhm.
Them borrowing money and then having trouble paying money back makes sense. To see Big Core do it like Sony of all places or like EA, that's
Mhm.
a little bit tougher to
That
kind of
sucks.
stomach because you
Yeah.
know they have the money. It's solely them just wanting to make sure their market value is as high as possible is why they're doing what they're doing, and that's really shitty, you know, because these are people's
Mhm.
livelihoods.
Yeah, shit sucks. It's really real.
One of the things that this was reported by Bloomberg that was canceled because of this was a Twisted Metal live service game, which
Shit.
I'm happy or I'm sad because that sucks, but also happy because yay, a live service game died. We don't need any more.
Maybe they'll finally get the fucking picture.
I'm
People don't want
sick of
this
that.
anymore.
Maybe.
They won't.
Get them out of here.
Any person that invests in video games is like, I want a game that lasts for 20 years. And it's like, that's not possible. Only Fortnite can do that. No,
Yeah.
we're going to make this one. And it's going to be
Right.
fucking Arkham Knight. That's not going to
Mhm.
exist.
But yeah, it hit like a lot of their like major studios, like Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Gorilla. A lot of these big game companies saw a decent amount of people, and again, it's just a really bad continuing trend as of late, as of the past, like what, basically a year and a half now, maybe or something like that.
And it's going to continue. This is far
It
from the
will.
end of it. And that's the worst part about it.
Yeah, it's quite a bummer.
Wow,
It's quite a
wow.
bummer. Speaking of continuing, let's talk about EA because they also laid off about 670 people. Man, I mean, if EA already didn't have a bad rep, this, yeah, you know,
We got to talk about the
Yeah.
elephant in the room. Remember when we talked about that Mandalorian game just like 2
Yep.
weeks ago?
Yep.
It's canceled.
Mm.
Yep.
And it's gone.
Yeah, just like that.
So
Pow, it's out of there. Doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, they
yeah,
fired that entire
there's
team
a
that was making that game.
Short-lived excitement.
yeah. I mean, that's awkward as hell. That's really bad timing. They say that Respawn, they're still gonna be making the next like Jedi Star Wars Jedi game, whatever it's gonna be called. But yeah, this one is a no go. That and also apparently they're just like kind of moving away from some licensed IP stuff, a la Star Wars and Marvel, which we know they're in the middle of making a Black Panther. I think it's a Black Panther Captain America team up game and also an Iron Man game. Those are apparently still happening, but
Still
maybe
happening.
EA is just like
Asterisk.
sports. We're going back to just sports.
Madden. Madden.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Give him another Madden.
Which that's what blows my mind. Just like I feel like a million people played FIFA and Madden. Like, how do you not have just endless pools of money?
Right.
I don't
Right.
get it.
I don't even
Yeah.
think it's a fact that they probably do have endless pools of money, but it's all
Right.
about performance. And that's kind of like the shitty part of that kind of
Mhm.
job role. It's like, yeah, all the games they've been making recently, of like, whether they've been good games or not is irrelevant. They haven't sold incredibly well, or at least based on the standards of the investors. Even like Battlefront 2, for example, didn't really sell that great as a game, despite it being like a decent game. They look at that, and investors pay attention to that, and people get dropped.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how Jedi Survivor did, to be honest. I don't know if it sold super well. It got kind of pushed back by all the other really good games that came out that year.
Right.
But I don't know if that affected sales.
I don't know either. I don't think I think it did fairly well. I think it did okay.
Yeah,
for what
but did
it's
it do EA games well? That's kind of games are so
Yeah,
expensive to
no.
make now. You can't just
Right.
do pretty good anymore. You have to do amazing.
And I tell you, EAFC will probably be in trouble because at some point in the future, because apparently FIFA was looking at partnering with 2K to maybe make a competitor to EAFC.
Interesting.
And I think 2K, the way
Oh.
they succeeded so well in basketball, I bet they would probably be able to make something better than EAFC. So
That's true. That would
Mm.
yeah.
a few years away.
We'll
though.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next piece of crap news. This concerns Rockstar, the beloved company that makes Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead as of late. This is also according to Bloomberg that Rockstar Games, they're asking their employees to return to the office because they are sick and tired of GTA 6 leaks.
That's funny. That's just funny.
They said stop working at the goddamn coffee shop.
An
God
actual
damn.
valid reason to return to the office. Like not like we need to look over your desk. Like we need nobody else to look over your desk. Like
It's
Yeah.
funny, but it does suck. Like that sucks, but it's funny.
Yeah. No one wants a fully in office
Mm-mm.
environment anymore. It's just one, we've seen that it's just not necessary. And two, a lot of times it doesn't make the work any better. There's a couple things that
Right.
people should be afraid of. One, we all know what happened with Activision Blizzard and Microsoft buying them, then immediately firing everybody after a few months ago, telling them all to return back to work full time. That's crazy. So those people had to move all the way to Irvine, California, spend $2,400 base rent when they probably only make $17 an hour, and they got fired. That's crazy. So there's
Yeah.
that. And then also, we know that lovely word in the industry. Usually when you're in office, that means crunch.
Mm.
Right.
So
yeah.
they're probably going to only have one day outside of the office anyway,
Right.
because that's the only time they get to lay their head
Especially
down
for
in their
this
own pillow.
game. Yeah.
There's no way they're not crunching this game.
disappointing.
Disappointing. People are pissed. I wouldn't be surprised if people leave over it. Maybe not till after they finish GTA 6, but they definitely will have a smaller team by the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting if, like, once post GTA 6, they're like, all right, you can go back home now.
They should. I hope so.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, why not?
Take a nice little vacay. Go back home. We're good until Red Dead 3, and then you're back. Your ass is back. You better get back here now. Yeah. So unfortunate, but like, I mean, this is the least terrible news of this week.
Got to keep fighting, man. Tell the corporate overlords we do not need to go back. It's ridiculous. It's happening on like every front. Like I hate to see it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Before we head to the trailer park. No, let's do it now. We'll flip it up. We're gonna go trailer park next. So let's go.
Mom Spaghetti.
Bow down, break it down, bow down, break it down, bow down, break it down, bow down, down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go too fast. I got excited.
No, it's good. Here we go. Because this looks like the most exciting. Just kidding. Fuck me. This is a trailer for Dune Awakening. We've talked about this game in the past. It's a Dune-inspired open-world MMO RPG Just a lot of sand, guys. Just a lot of sand.
Dune, the previously unfilmable movie, is now Dune, the unmakeable game.
Yeah.
Because why do they keep making some of the shittiest looking games ever? I know they made the RTS about transporting spice. I don't know how that did. I know it came out on Game Pass.
Oh wow, I keep forgetting that's a different game than this. I thought there was the same thing.
Yes, it came out. I know no one knows that it did, but it came out. I have no idea if it's good or not, but it looked fucking boring to me. I don't play RTS games like that anyway, so I wasn't gonna be interested in it. But it looked like shit. This, however, I love MMOs. I played World of Warcraft for many, many years. Played Final Fantasy XIV, all those kinds of games. This looks boring as shit because first and foremost, you're just in the desert.
Yeah, I really wonder if there's going to be other planets or what.
Right. How many interesting, how many interesting environments can you make in a world like this?
And maybe some rocky outcroppings, and then more desert. And some
maybe there'll be like underground areas.
Oh yeah, it looks like there's a few of those in there. But I mean,
there's some base building. And that looks cool, I guess.
Not a lot of
but
green.
Also not that
this
cool.
looks like the worst parts of every Starfield trailer I ever saw.
Yeah. It looks like they try to jam in a lot of like ways to play and stuff, and I feel like that's usually when you try to go too big like that, it's just everything is kind of just mid.
And this might just be like and we'll get more into this next week when we talk about Dune Part 2. I might just be over Dune. I don't know what it is. Dune be rubbing me the wrong way as of late.
It was too long between 1 and 2. I know it wasn't actually that long, but it felt too long. I think because we went through an entire pandemic.
I don't know what it is,
but it is. Yeah, something about it does feel weird, and I do think that these are just cash grabs. I don't know how much love has been put into them, which is unfortunate.
Honestly, like a Dune single player game doesn't sound terrible.
Right? Sure. There's interesting concepts of gameplay. This was not one of them.
Yeah, this one, I don't know.
You don't build a base at any point in the Dune movies, so I don't know why that was such
somebody had to.
Well, I just feel like you got to get off planet because like Dune is like by definition a desert. Like that's the point,
right?
So as long as you don't mind like one environment to walk around in, but usually in an open world thing, you want to kind of mix it up a little bit. So
especially in MMO,
I don't even think it looks like gameplay wise, it looks that great or exciting and what they showed. There's a lot of cutting of rocks and shit. As soon as I saw this dude lasering pieces of a rock off, I was like, oh, nope, this is not for me. This is definitely for someone, but it is not for me.
Hey, man, cash in. Dune is hot right now. Might as well.
Someone will play it. People will play this game. As long as they support it, they'll have some fan base.
I'm gonna keep a watch out to see if they do like a closed beta or something, see if I can get into it.
Yeah.
And see if I can play, because I would be interested to see what it's like. I don't want to completely write it off, but it doesn't sound super interesting.
No, not as much. Not as much as I thought it would. And I was like, that's a bummer. All right. Now, to finish off, because this news has all just been real bummy. Brian threw us this, he texted our group chat. And we're gonna just go through these movies because it's very funny. These are all of Hideo Kojima's one sentence. I'm going to say movie reviews, but because that's what they are. On Twitter, anytime Brian, he's told us, anytime he sees a movie, if it's only one sentence or it says like, I saw this, it usually means he hated it.
Hideo Kojima is a man that loves movies. He does not love all movies. And it is very obvious when he does not love a movie when he tweets about it on Twitter.
I'm surprised that he just feels so compelled to still say something, though. Like, he could easily just not say anything. Like, that was a terrible movie. I'm not even going to talk about it. But no, he's like, that was a terrible movie. And I have only a few things to say.
Yeah, I guess it's like a diary for him almost. He tweets pretty weird as a whole. So it kind of makes sense with his vibe. But yeah, I guess he just wants to have a place to be like, this is where I can see where I've watched all the movies. Because I guess he doesn't know that Letterboxd exists. I don't know.
Right. So first one, obviously, this was the most recent. I think this is what started Brian's texting us was Madam Web. So what did he say, Brian? He just said, I saw Madam Web, right?
Yeah, he'll just say, I saw Madam Web, and that is it. And I've followed him for a while, so I've always seen it when he does this. I've always found it hilarious. Because he'll be like, I saw this movie, and it was so great, everything about this, so the shots were immaculate. I saw Madam Web.
I too saw Madam Web.
Just like weird, picturing like a master like that, like just sitting through one of the
sitting at Madam Web,
dog shit that I've ever seen in my life. Like, yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah. All right. Next was The Marvels, which I I don't blame him, but I've had fun with that movie. It is
After
what
seeing
it
Madam Web, the Marvels, I can revisit that and say much better things about it.
is. Next was Indiana Jones 5. Yeah, I get that too. Again, should have been a million times better. It's kind of boring and not great. It's a
Aw.
bummer. Super Mario Brothers. I take offense to this one. I thought this one was a delight. I thought
I
this
think a
one
lot of
was
people
fun.
like that. I still haven't seen it.
I can see why someone wouldn't like it. It feels a little soulless.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
I can see why.
I agree.
But it's also just like,
Damn.
again, it's kind of like Madam Web. Picturing him just sitting there alone watching the Super Mario Brothers.
It doesn't seem like the movie
I hope that
for him.
He probably watched it with Jeff Keighley. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's just like, nah, I don't support Nintendo. Fuck that. No.
Maybe.
Next was Captain Marvel. Ooh, twofer. He really don't like those movies.
He doesn't like the Disney, man.
He really
the
doesn't
women
like-
superhero movies are not cutting it.
Yeah, he doesn't like the Disney women.
Yeah, that's rough. Next, Pacific Rim 2. I actually never saw this. I don't know.
I didn't know it existed.
It looked
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
giant video game in the
Yep,
trailer. I was
yep.
like, this is probably fun, but I have no idea.
I think maybe the most forgettable movie I've ever seen. Like I forgot that I saw it. That's like forgot that it was a movie, forgot that you saw it, and then of course forgot what happened.
Yeah.
Ultimate sin for a movie.
The Mummy 2017. This is the one starring Tom Cruise. That movie
Ooh.
does suck. That movie blows.
I forgot that movie existed as well.
You should. It's not.
I don't think
good.
I've seen any of these movies.
That's for the best.
You saved a lot of
Probably
your
good.
time.
You know, I think
Yeah.
I think I only saw Captain Marvel on the list so far.
That's funny. That's honestly probably the top 2 of the best ones in my opinion.
I didn't
on this
hate
list.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it that much either. Jumanji 2. I've never seen any of the Jumanji movies. I don't really care to. Either.
Any
The
of them?
first one's really good. The second one sucks.
I didn't know.
Oh,
that
no,
was
you
I
just
mean,
any
I
of
mean,
them.
Wait, are we
sorry.
talking
I mean,
about the
the
original or the
No.
the remake with
No, it's
Kevin
not-
Hart
it's-
is just called
Yeah.
Jumanji?
Yeah, the video game version.
That's crazy.
The first one's really good. The second one's pretty boring.
Did not know they made a second.
I like the one with Robin Williams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
The OG.
That's
Yeah.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
1,000%. 1,000%. And then the last one. Oh no, 2 more. Fantastic Beasts 2. That I'm trying to even remember that one because did they make 3 of those? I don't even remember now.
Beats me.
They
Or is
made
that-
2 and then Dumbledore.
Okay, what the hell? I don't remember the second one, bro. No, okay, that
I
just
don't
shows
either.
how man, real boring. Oh, I remember. That's the one with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
oh.
Yeah, they recasted
Mhm.
or not recasted. They recasted in the third one. Johnny Depp was the bad guy. It's all
Wow.
convoluted and dumb. But yeah, that movie is real forgettable.
I didn't watch any of the Fantastic Beasts because I don't know. At that point, we already were hating J.K. Rowling, so that was one thing. And then also,
Were we?
it just
I don't
didn't
remember.
sound interesting. Oh yeah, we've been hating Homegirl for many years now.
I like
But
the
yeah,
first
it is
Fantastic
interesting.
movies. Though. I think that movie's actually
Really?
pretty good. Yeah.
I heard
Actually decent.
Dumbledore was mid as fuck.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's pretty. It's boring as fuck. It's really boring. It's got the same vibe that I got with what was the movie I just described? Rebel Moon, where I was like, I never fell
Mm.
asleep, but I felt like I fell asleep. That's how I just describe it. That's how I can describe that
They're still gonna release the second one of those.
movie.
They
Yeah.
gotta.
Just weird picturing him sitting through all those movies. He just goes to all these. Oh, is there more?
There's the
There's one
last
more.
one is 65. It's the Adam Driver dinosaur movie.
Oh,
that
yeah, 65.
also
Is it
did not.
65 or 69?
Dinosaurs? Adam
Oh
Driver.
think
yeah,
it's
they
just
were
65.
showing the hell out of
Oh,
this
yeah,
like
yeah.
last year for like a trailer, and it
Yeah.
looked dumb as hell.
Yeah, I did not care.
It was pretty bad.
Really?
I watched it. Yeah.
I said I was gonna watch it when it was streaming, but I forgot it came out. So
Yeah.
thanks for the reminder. Now I'm actually gonna try to watch it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. So this is a great
That's
list.
crazy.
This is hilarious.
Just crazy that he sits through all these.
How does he find the time? Isn't he making like 4 games right now?
Yeah.
Yes. He
What's
seems
he
like a kind
doing?
of guy that doesn't sleep. He looks like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't understand, but it is funny. It is very funny. But with that, let's end on a high note, guys. That is the news, which means it is time to move into our main topic of the week, which means we're gonna say goodbye to our friend Devin for a little bit. But Devin will
Bye-bye,
be back
Devin.
Get
with
the
us.
fuck out of here.
Bye-bye.
Have fun. I'll see you on the other side.
All right, guys. It is time for our main topic of the week. We just said goodbye to Devin. He will be back later, but that's because we're talking about something that he doesn't know anything about. So, and he might want to play one day. So we're not going to spoil it for him.
One
But
day.
we're in another fortress. We're trapped once again. This is a fortress. We've been trying to do this fortress for Lord knows how long.
At least
We've
2
been
years.
talking about doing a long ass
I
time.
really
We've been
think
trying to get to.
About 2 years, yeah.
We have finally made it just in time for the sequel that we're not talking about to come out. Because we are in the Fortress of
Final Fantasy
Fantasy
VII Remake. Yeah, 7's in there somewhere.
Yes, listeners, we are finally talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake, specifically. Remake, I will even throw in Intergrade, the PS5 / also on PC now, additions we might touch upon, depending on how much time and what we get to.
I won't. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, have you not played it yet? Okay,
Yeah.
then never mind. I might briefly touch on it, non-spoilery.
I mean, I don't care about spoilers or anything like that. I also have played the original game, so not that
That's
part's
also a
in
good
there,
point.
but
yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Rebirth just came out. Very exciting
Yeah.
stuff. And so we've been trying to talk about this game for a while. But before we get into it, so just to let listeners know, we are gonna be talking about Remake specifically, but also both Alex and Brian have played the original game. We're not gonna spoil anything past what Remake covers, I believe. So any of the Midgard
Which
stuff,
is not much of the game at all.
it's just like 10 minutes apparently.
It's a couple hours.
But yeah, so this is gonna be fun stuff. I mean, I played this. I talked about this on the podcast. Played this last year, for the first time. I played the demo when it came out, and then I wanted the game, but I don't know why. I just never got around to it.
The game came out in what, 2020? The
yes,
remake?
so.
Was it 2020 or
It was
2019?
It might have been 2019, and then 2020 is when it came out on PC.
Wow.
Yeah, it came out in 2019.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you played the demo, Oscar. You played it last year, and then did you recently
No, I played the
finish
demo in 2019. I played the demo in 2019.
I think me and Oscar might have played it like together because I think we were still in Atlanta during that time.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome." And then I don't know what it was. I just never got it. I just never went out of my way to get it. I was like, I don't know. It's gonna take a million years. There's too much stuff going on, and I just never got it. And then obviously pandemic happened, and there was a little downtime. And then eventually, I picked it. Oh, that's what happened. I got it for free on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That'll do it.
I was like, oh fuck yeah! All right, now let's get into it. And I bought the PS5 upgrade, Intergrade Yuffie stuff, so I got to play that as well. Before we get into obvious spoilers, just overall, man, I've raved about this enough, so I won't take much time. This game is fucking amazing. I fucking love this game. Holy shit! I was like, it's so easily and so rapidly climbed to one of my top games of all time.
Damn. Of all time. Oh man.
Dude, yeah, from the opening credits, just how fucking the polish and the precision of making this game and the heart and the effort that it took. Like, just it's such a it's just a gorgeous game to look at. And then the music kicks in, it's just like the title screen. It's just I was in it.
We can turn Oscar into a Final Fantasy lover. This right here, this is the seed that can be grown. Because if this is what you love, there's so many Final Fantasy games I can recommend to you that you will absolutely fall in love with, man. Oh my god, that makes me so happy. I love to hear it.
I adored not all the characters. I adored the world and just like. Yeah, I think I like Brian kept asking and wondering. He's like, he was surprised that I like loved it so much, and I was like,
me too,
dude. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's just like I feel like Kingdom Hearts is like this Final Fantasy is a warm up to playing any Kingdom Hearts game in terms of story.
And that's what's so crazy is you like Kingdom Hearts so much. It's like I don't know how you somehow dodged Final Fantasy for so long.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think it was just intimidating.
So is this your first Final Fantasy game?
This is my first Final Fantasy game ever.
Whoa.
Yeah. I've never touched any other Final Fantasy.
Right?
Again, it was just I think the last time I was this excited to potentially like get into it was when 13 was coming out. Way back on the PS3 era. I got close
sucks.
to I was like, oh, that was I know. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. I heard it wasn't very good.
If you gotta pick any, don't
but
pick
that was
that
when
one.
I was like, what are these games? I was like, man, I remember hearing about these games and blah, blah, blah. But I think, again, it was just intimidation factor. I was like, I don't know which one to start with. I don't want to play this really old-ass game, and I don't know.
Final Fantasy X was right there. The same time Kingdom Hearts was coming out, and you were like, nah, I'd rather not play that.
I played 10, a whole lot of 10. I played a lot of Tactics on the Game Boy and the original, but that I modded onto my phone. And I think I played like a little bit of 3 or one of the other like early ones, but just like a not that much time into. I definitely spent most time in like 10 and Tactics, and then 7 and 7
I was about to
Remake.
say Tactics owned your life for a
Yeah,
decent
I
part of
remember
our
that.
college.
That's my shit right there. Yeah, yeah.
That was
Those are some great games. They're very different in terms of like Final Fantasy. They're very, very different.
I mean, it's an anthology.
Right.
They're all pretty
Mechanically,
different.
yeah. But mechanically, it's like also like it's like a tactics game, and that's probably the biggest difference.
There's a name for those kinds of RPGs that are like tactics based like that. I can't remember what the name was.
Tactical RPG, I guess. But
Maybe.
I think the style of 7 in particular, I find you really unique in terms and compared to like almost every RPG. Like so many RPG games are fantasy based, and every fantasy setting is like medieval times with magic and swords and bows and arrows and dragons. And this is a lot of those things, but there's also motorcycles and cars and helicopters,
military,
and tanks. It's a very modern setting with
It's like
swords and
steampunk
magic.
is a good way
And
to put
steampunk for sure. Yeah, and you just don't really see that very often in terms of RPG. Maybe like Cyberpunk 2077, but that's still like a different lens of steampunk.
Yeah.
It's very, very futuristic. So I really appreciated the setting a whole lot in Final Fantasy VII.
How'd you feel about like Remake as a whole?
So I played it also when it got free on PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus, whatever it's called. I played a whole bunch of it, and I was playing the original Final Fantasy that got re-released on Switch. I was playing both of them at the same time, which is pretty cool to compare and very quickly get past the Midgar section on the original. But it took me a long time to get through, and then I put it down for a year or two. I don't know how long. And I just finished Remake this past weekend.
Nice.
So the last like 4 hours are fresh.
That's pretty cool.
There you go.
I did my classic thing. I got to the last like final section and then put it down forever, and I finally finished before we got on. So it was a great little piece. I can't believe that it's just like a few hours of the first game. Like it's pretty crazy.
I think that's the wildest thing that trips people out so much about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, people that know me know I fucking love Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
If Halo and Xbox didn't come out, the trajectory of my life would have been completely different because I was 100% a JRPG super fucking loser nerd, and that was like the only game. Those were the only games that I like really vibed with. I just loved the JRPG, so I was playing all those kinds of games. And Final Fantasy was what kind of put me in that world. I just loved a good storytelling. So I played 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Haven't played 15 yet. I haven't played it. I haven't played 16, of course, on my PS5. But yeah, I just love Final Fantasy. 7 was one of my favorites. It was one of the first ones that I really got to engage with. So it was kind of like life-changing. So to see this like remade is like everything I ever dreamed of. Like when I saw like the painted backdrops of the original game, like this is what I felt back in like, I don't know, 99, 2000 when I actually got to play this game, even though it came out in 97. I was a little too young at the time when it first came out. And it was like, this is what I imagined. This is what I thought the game was when I was a kid. So to see that like that was like, I don't know, it brings a nostalgia that I can't compare to. And it's just a really well-made game. I think the combat's very fun. I think it's very interesting. The characters have good energy together. The storytelling feels very good. They literally turned a 3-hour section of a PlayStation 1 game into a 40-hour video game. And they did it well. They did it well.
Really well, yeah.
I was so surprised that they were able to squeeze that much out of that little,
I also really, really, really appreciate the overhaul in the combat system. I mean, I know a lot of people are on the fence in terms of it being like better or worse for the real-time action stuff. But I think it was a welcome change, and the way that it's handled, like you can still pause, but you have to be like strategic about how you pause and when, and you have to like set up your combos in order to be able to pause to set off like better moves and abilities and use items and stuff. And I find myself like thinking and working on almost every combat encounter versus just like mashing buttons or clicking the attack button until the combat's over, which is what you do in a lot of other RPG games, whether they're action based or like time based. Like you have to be like really strategic and purposeful in a lot of your action economy in this game. So I thought that was just really a fun way to be engaged the whole time. It was like addicting.
I mean, if we're talking about the combat, we should talk about the combat.
Yeah.
I think
that's what I mean. Yeah,
I think it was a little too easy.
Oh really? Damn.
I told you. You asked me. It was like beating on hard. I was like, it wasn't honestly that hard.
I was dying a lot. I died a lot
Really?
in this game. Oh,
So the thing for me is, playing Final Fantasy VII Original, I got really into the materia system.
For sure.
So that was pretty important to me. So because of that, I kind of mimicked the same thing when I ended up, picking up this game from the start. It was like, oh, I'm gonna abuse materia, baby. So I ended up kind of doing that and kind of playing around with the different things. I was scanning every single enemy to see exactly what they were weak to. So whenever I ran into them again, I knew exactly what to use. And from doing that, like, it kind of trivialized some of the encounters of the game, because it's like, oh, well, this boss is really fucking hard unless you use fucking fire mixed with Elementa materia so that you have fire on your sword whenever you attack him, and suddenly he's really fucking easy. So I've been doing that for most of the game, and I there's only like maybe one boss that I came to that like I had to try a couple of times where I was like, oh fuck.
Damn,
and I played on normal. I haven't played the hard version or whatever. I'm not sure if I will, just because I don't know if I want to spend that much extra time right now on that game. But when I talked to Oscar about it, I was like, is hard mode hard? And he was like, no, not really. I'm like, oh.
Not really. No.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that's
only fair. Again, like I was telling you then, the only stressful thing is in hard mode, you can't, when you sit on a bench, it doesn't fill up your MP.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have to be sparingly on when using cure and shit like that, whatever you want, because you won't be able to do that. And obviously, and there are no healing items. You can't use like potions or mega potions or anything like that to heal yourself. That's the hardest thing. But again, you get full health at the beginning of every chapter. And at least for the first half of the game, those chapters are real quick. And then there are some let's talk pacing, very quick pacing stuff. Man, sometimes this game, I'm like, oh, cool, this next chapter, I got a good like hour and a half. This will be quick. No, this chapter is gonna be 4 hours long for some fucking reason.
And it would never, there was never any rhyme or reason of why. Because some chapters will have absolutely no side quests, no extra stuff. You run in a straight line and then you're done. Then other ones would be like, hey, enjoy beating 16 fucking quests. Like I think there was one in like Sector 6 when you're in the place with the honeybees and everything, where it's like that section is like one chapter chunk. And it's
that's the beefy one,
fucking long. And it's like,
that's the beefy
I was usually had a pretty good cadence of playing. Like you said, it was like, oh, I got an hour and a half. I can get a chapter out and then start again maybe tomorrow. That shit I had to stop like 3 or 4 times before I was actually able to finish it. Because it was so damn long. Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, I found myself not loving the like day-to-day activities. The more the whole game felt very anime, which is certainly the style. But I didn't love the filler section of the anime show of this game.
You can tell this game came out after Final Fantasy XIV, which people that don't know, that's the MMORPG, the second one they actually placed after Final Fantasy XI that came out. Because those side quests are literally exactly the same.
They're bad. They're not very good.
If anyone's played Final Fantasy XIV, they know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is literally do nothing simulator whenever you do the side quests. To the point that anyone that tells you to play that game tells you to skip all the side quests of Final Fantasy XIV. And you can tell they took a lot of that exactly from that game. So that was kind of interesting to see. That's a kind of game that's a little bit action-y RPG more so than turn-based. There's a little bit of downtime. Your skills have cooldowns, whatever. But you can definitely tell that they learned a little bit of that from that game.
That sucks that that 14's been out for so long, and it sounds like that's a part of like the meta culture to not play the side quests, but they still put in so many boring side quests.
It's an MMO thing, and I think that it was just a kind of easy thing to bloat the game. They probably wanted to make it a little bit longer than it probably was going to be.
Yeah, sure.
For me personally, I didn't mind it so much because it was another excuse. It gave me the same thing that Halo Infinite's campaign did for me, where it's like the stuff I'm doing itself isn't interesting, but it gives me another opportunity to just play the game, like, mess with the mechanics of the game. So like, yeah, I'm fighting some stupid fucking monsters to, save a little boy from, the scary monster, but I get to beat shit up as Tifa, so that's fun. So I don't really care what I'm doing as long as I get to still engage with the mechanics that I enjoy. So
yeah.
No, I mean, going really quickly to the combat. I've raved about the combat of this game. It's just so fucking fun. Like it's just so satisfying. It's so pretty to look at, but also it's like you feel good in doing it and making the choices and controlling your team members and all this shit. It's just like, I don't know what it is, because obviously there's two ways to play, and you can play it where you control your every action of the character, and or you can have it so like it's a little more towards like the original in the sense that you can just issue the commands and the computer will control them and every other time. I played it where I just ran around, like I wanted the full control. I wanted to see the new system that they created. But yeah, it's just such a good fucking time. Again, yeah, like Brian said, maybe a couple bosses were like somewhat hard, but overall, like I wasn't. I was way more stressed in the final boss. Which, are we in spoilers? I don't remember.
I guess we should be. We're just kind of talking about.
I don't think we're in spoilers yet. All right, we'll say right now, listeners, spoilers from here on out. Obviously, all three of us love the game. You should play it if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. But yeah. So I was more terrified going into the Sephiroth fight than it actually was. I was like, oh, this is
that was actually very easy.
Yeah, it wasn't all that hard, but it was cool.
The hardest thing for me, I think, was that fucking house fight. And
yes,
the house fight is
that was intense.
And there's a reason it's so hard. And the reason it's so hard is if you never play the original Final Fantasy, you wouldn't know about the type differences that you have to play around with. They do it very similarly to the way that they did in the original Final Fantasy, that you're supposed to change your element based on like what's happening with that. They don't tell you that very, very quickly. And if you don't do that, you'll do exactly 0 damage. And that's really fucking annoying.
I think I got that. Like I had a couple different elements on different people, but it was still just such a fucking like. I feel like as soon as you start doing bad, it's just over.
Yes,
it's tough. It's tough.
The funniest thing about that is I love making comparisons about this in the game, and I'm sure you remember this, Alex, is not a boss really in the game. That's like a pretty normal fight.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was just like a random encounter, right?
Yes. The house is a random encounter in the original.
It felt like a much bigger deal. Everything in the remake is a much bigger deal, and mostly a good way.
Right. Yeah. That's hilarious. No, speaking of which, I have to mention there's a note I discovered on my either first playthrough or second playthrough. I don't remember how. The Coliseum commentators, they're actually commentating on what you're doing in the sense that I use
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
I use Aerith's healing wind limit attack or limit break, and they talked about it. I was like, oh shit, that's fucking dope. How much dialogue did they record for every possibility that you did? Like that blows my mind. That to the point where after beating, I don't remember if you get it from beating it just regularly or if you have to do other stuff, but I unlocked the Bahamut summon, and I used it on my second playthrough because he's just OP as fuck. And they even have dialogue for that. I was like, holy shit. You don't even get there's no possible way you can have this on your first playthrough. Just the fact that that's in there. I'm like, God, see, like, that's for me. Like, those are the little things that I know that this game is special when there's that detail.
Everything is voice acting in this game. To an almost annoyance, because they be fucking yapping. They yap in this game. When you walk through any city, it is just people talking over each other over and over and over. And I'm like,
if you got them subtitles on, it's just a roll of credits on the side of your fucking
every
screen.
Motherfucker I walk around is like, hey, are you that guy? Give me a second. Leave me alone. Also, fun fact, a person that voices a lot of the random people around the world is fucking... What's his name? Sonic the Hedgehog, Roger Craig Smith.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to send you. Yeah, I wanted to send. That's yes. I wanted to send a clip because like the very first like merchant I went and saw when I played it was Roger Craig Smith, and I was like, it's fucking Sonic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that was.
Is it the guy who's like, Tifa, where you been? Blah 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 blah.
No,
and then Kyle was like, "What do you want?"
What was it? The weapons merchant. That's like, I don't want to deal with this motherfucker. Fuck that guy.
That guy.
It's the guy standing beside him. That's like, hey, come over here to get your shit. He doesn't play like a named character, but he's always just a random character in there. He has a very distinct voice. Right. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Real. So I want to briefly talk about just how horny this game is. Because this is what I told y'all before I started this game up. I was like, holy fuck. 1, everyone is sexy. 2, everyone wants to fuck Cloud. and Cloud doesn't want to fuck anybody.
Cloud is very autistic.
Well,
Cloud
there's
doesn't
maybe
care
one.
about-
There's maybe one
and-
person that Cloud wants to get in bed with.
Sephiroth.
He's
And it's much
definitely got the
worse.
hots for Sephiroth.
It's much worse in the original game. They definitely toned it down, I guess, because the way they want to portray just Sephiroth as a whole, which I found interesting. But I
Right.
think I told you about
I mean,
this.
there's still time. There's still time. The remake, part 2,
It's
part
true.
3.
There's 2 whole games, man.
Yes. Oh yes, 100%. But I think I remember telling Oscar about that when he was first playing this game. That I was like, Final Fantasy is really horny, and it's really
It's so,
interesting.
I couldn't believe it.
It's very horny and it's pretty gay. And I love that, especially a game that came out in '97. Like some of the things that it kind of plays around with is so different from what you would expect from that time period, especially, and it still kind of holds up around. There's some things that are a little testy. The cross dressing section where I'm like, then we have to do this in the way that we did.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I love it, but also it
Right.
still has like the little gag of like, oh, you know, he's pretty. Cloud is still pretty when he's wearing a dress. That's a pretty
Yeah.
boy. You know,
It's pretty funny. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I didn't.
No,
I
I
didn't
just call
find
this.
the.
This is just.
Go ahead, Oscar.
I was just gonna say no. I just like call this. This is just sexual tension. The game,
Mhm.
because that's like
Mhm.
half the cutscenes are just like sitting on a nice edge of sexual tension. But it's like worse when I'm sitting with the controller in my hand, like Cloud, you're fucking. What are you doing? Jesse is right there. What are you doing, my man?
He's trying so hard
That's
to be
funny.
fucking cool and play it cool, and it's like, bro, now's not the time to play it cool. Ice up.
Come
nigga.
on. The sky just fell. What are you doing?
You want to come and eat dinner? No, I'm not hungry. What the fuck? Yeah, you are. We haven't eaten in days.
He's too busy being sad and stuff.
Yeah, he's got to be
I
emo.
didn't.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those things are in the first game, but when I was or in the original, but I didn't read them, especially like in terms of like Cloud and the way he talks to people and his relationship around Sephiroth. I didn't really read it as horniness per se, especially Cloud and Sephiroth. But I just felt like the through line in that game was like Cloud just really, really envies Sephiroth and wants to be
Yeah.
Sephiroth to the point where he is the villain, and Cloud just, if he can't be Sephiroth, he has to kill Sephiroth.
He was on that boy's dick. He was obsessed with that man.
And there's things about Sephiroth that are like archetypal bad guy. I have to be the ruler of the world. I'm going to destroy everybody. Okay, so we got to kill him. But if you put all that aside, it's just a Cloud. Cloud's just got an issue that he's not as cool as Sephiroth. Like literally, he just like. That's like, I mean, that's kind of getting into some of the stuff in the other games, but that's just like to the core of Cloud's being is I want to be like Sephiroth.
And that's what I love. I know
Right.
we can't talk about it now, but there's some stuff that is so interesting around that relationship where it's like, that's so funny because you learn so much about Cloud as a person. And I think that's what's most interesting about him because when you, and I guess it still reads pretty well in the remake compared to the original game, but you kind of get this feeling that like Cloud is kind of putting on airs, and it's like, why is he doing that? Like, why is he acting so cool when it's like, bro, we know you have feelings, we know you're a normal human being. Why does everything you have to do have to be cool?
Right.
And he always downplays it. So everyone's like, oh my god, it's fucking Cloud. He's so cool. And he's like, yeah, it's nothing. And it's like, all right, bro, like, why are you being this way? But once you start getting more context into like why he acts the way that he does and kind of like his insecurities around who he is as a person, I don't know. This game does something that just you never would have expected from that time period. I love it. I love it so much. It's so fucking funny.
Oscar said it's sexual tension, the game. But it's also like puberty, the game.
Yes, it is. It feels very much
yeah,
coming of age
yeah.
story kind of situation where it's like, this is a 12-year-old boy, I don't know, maybe like 13-year-old boy about to go to fucking high school and is trying to make a personality about like, what do high school kids act like? I saw my big brother, he's 16, he's super cool, he's got a car, he's in a Honda Civic, it's got a subwoofer in it. That's Sephiroth.
Right.
He's like, I want to be like him, I want a subwoofer in my car. So he just starts pretending. And then it's like, yeah, I know how to drive. Brother, you're 13. You don't know how to fucking drive.
Let me just get the biggest sword I can carry, and that'll make me cool.
Which is weird because like they're all like 20 years old or something. I think in this game or some shit like that.
Yeah. So they're all kind of young. They're all
so
babies
funny.
when it comes down to the grand scheme of things. But
It's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for Barrett.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Barrett's like every bit of 38.
Oh man. But look, like I don't even know where to go with it. Just if we want to talk about the story or what, just because like, okay, I'll pose with this. Like, story wise, did you guys? I mean, you guys clearly liked the game. Did you like how much they expanded this 3 hours of the OG game?
I think that it was a great remake, and I think that every remake in terms of or readaptations for like TV, movies, video games, whatever, should use this as a case study. Because I think that for me, the best remakes are things that pay homage to the original, expand a little bit, and I think it's a good thing to take some new creative liberties. I want to watch something that's participate in something that's a remake of something, but not to the point where it's like an exact carbon copy. And maybe that's more of a critique for like film. I have so many issues with a lot of remake films and stuff because they just try so hard to be like an exact shot for shot, and they don't have anything that changes. And of course, it's going to be worse because how can you be better than something that you're inspired by when you're not making any different changes? So I really appreciated the small changes that they made to the story and the things that they expanded upon. But the changes, that's kind of a different conversation. That's like a lot to like wrap. I
was gonna say
a lot to wrap your head around.
Before Brian answers, I was going to say right after Brian answers, do we want to talk about the Kingdom Hearts-ness of this game and how y'all feel about it?
I sure want to talk about it because that's what I was going to talk about next. Because the creative liberties is where it's losing me. And that's where I'm not, because I think Final Fantasy VII tells a really good story about capitalism and fascism and all these other things by itself without the extra bullshit around it. So when they started adding some of that stuff, I think it takes away from the big message of like, this is the resistance against big core. This is the resistance against big government. Right. That's really powerful, especially in '97 when we were like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that existed. That was so important to talk about. So to like write it off with the fucking ghost whispers, really,
it's a distraction. Yeah,
I really didn't like that because it was a lot of situations where it's like, oh, I know this happens because of this, but they were like, no, instead this happens because fate said you can't touch this part. That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. I don't have any other way to like paint the picture. That's just fucking stupid. Because there was a situation where it's like, oh, I know that Barry doesn't get to this person in time because this happens, and that makes sense in context of the situation of we know Shinra sucks. And they're like, no, instead, Barry, you can't touch this. We're gonna keep you away from it. No, shut the fuck up. Like, just shut up. Oh, Aerith, you can't go that way in the church because that's gonna change too much. No, she can't go that way because someone was fucking shooting at her. Like, what are you talking about? Stop this. Like,
yeah. I guess I didn't really care for like the ghosts throughout the game. They were really confusing me for sure. But I did really like the biggest change, I think, that happens at the very, very end of the game, like after you beat Sephiroth and like the ending scenes. I think that little bit of stuff with Zack especially was really intriguing.
And that's why I can tell what they're doing here, which I do think is interesting. I think it goes kind of to your point, Alex, of like, I like seeing a remake of something that's like, it's not cookie cutter to what we've already seen, because what's the interest in that? I know this is a little bit different because this game is fairly old, so we are doing something considerably different just by making it or remaking it. That being said, they're obviously trying to tell a different story this time. And I do think they're setting up for something that's going to be a much bigger plot point around these things. Yeah. So maybe it doesn't feel so good or fulfilling right now, but it'll feel more good and fulfilling later. So I'm trying to, hold off my opinions negatively around that because I know that they're trying to do something that I just haven't seen yet. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know
that
what
is a
y'all
really
talking
good point,
about.
though. One of my favorite things about the original was, as I said, the setting and the story about like a group of vigilantes fighting back the man, fighting back the system, and like trying to take care of the planet. And eventually, it becomes about Sephiroth, but it's still like that through line of like protecting the planet and being green and all this other stuff that you kind of do lose in the remake because of all this other stuff that's going on.
Exactly. I think that's where I'm struggling with it, just because I know that's such a good story already. Because I've seen it. I've seen it.
Right. Yeah, guys, I wish I could agree with you, but that Kingdom Hearts shit, I'm eating it up.
You're
I don't
eating
give
it
a
up,
fuck.
yeah? You're all for it?
I'm all for it because again, I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So this for me, this is it. I know it's different just because like I know a decent amount about the original. I don't know much about the big twist that is. I'm not gonna say it, but everyone fucking knows the big spoiler. But so I know a lot of decent amount of stuff. But I honestly, I think me playing Kingdom Hearts was a good prepper for this.
Maybe.
In the terms that it wasn't as absurd as anything in Kingdom Hearts. I was like, all right, whatever.
That's
This is
true.
just. Isn't this what every one of these games is? Maybe
Because it gets
some
convoluted.
weird shit.
Yeah, it gets convoluted for no reason. And even the original game gets convoluted after.
I had to
Rebirth
watch
part?
a lot of YouTube videos to digest things. Probably also because it took me about a year to finish the original.
That's why you're like,
That's
should
true.
I watch Advent Children? And it's like, no. Because one, it's a spoiler for everything that's supposed to be the events
Yeah.
after Final Fantasy VII. And two, it's a fucking mess. That movie's a fucking mess. Like, it's so convoluted for no reason.
Yeah, so that whole thing, let's just get into what Alex is mentioning of the spoilers and stuff. I love how by the end of this game, they're just like, you may get the story that you think, but also, who knows? You might get something completely different.
Yeah, how did you take that ending? Because they obviously introduce a brand new character, Zach, that they don't even mention
Zach,
by name in Remake. Did you
They
see any of that
purposefully
coming?
don't say.
They take his name out. And I found that really
They
interesting.
purposely take his name out.
Oh, right,
yeah.
because Aerith mentions him a couple of times, but you probably did you even like pick up on that?
Well, no, because they don't say his name. Like I know because I know who Zach is.
Okay.
I know a little bit, but I don't know all of the details. So there's that moment where Aerith and Cloud are sitting on at the playground, whatever, and she says Zach, but the game they blank out his name, and you just see Cloud's reaction to what she just said.
He's got he's got to see a therapist for real.
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does.
Personally blacking out stuff. Yes.
I can't talk about this.
I thought that was super interesting because obviously I'm not gonna spoil. I'm familiar with Zach sort of, and so
you didn't play
I
Crisis
kinda
Core?
knew-
It's like $30, man. Come on, what the fuck?
I know I need to play it. I want to, but now I can't. I got Rebirth. I don't play anything for the next 2 years. And so I kind of knew what the twist was with him showing up at the end, in the sense that it was like, okay, we're doing something different now. This is uncharted territory in a way.
Are we? Can we use spoilers? Are we talking about spoilers right now?
Yeah.
Zach is dead in the original game.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. That's different. Zach isn't supposed to be alive.
Yeah, that whole scene where he's walking Cloud like to Midgar and he finishes fighting off all the bad guys. That also happens like several years before the events of Final Fantasy VII.
What part?
Yeah, that happened in the past.
But at the end of the game, that's happening kind of at the same time, albeit
and also he's alive.
A different universe.
No more spoilers about Zach past that because I don't know anything
else.
Yeah.
I figured we could talk about that at least.
Yeah. It's
so
happening at the same time, probably in a different timeline.
Yeah.
And he survived the encounter and takes Cloud with him.
He goes to see Aerith.
Versus Cloud going by himself to Midgar.
Yeah. So yeah, that's super interesting. And I'm very excited to see where that goes in Rebirth. Like, what are they doing with I know that might be a little much for some people in terms of like, oh, we're doing weird timeline shit and stuff like that.
It's like a Marvel
who knows? Multiversal thing. Yeah,
Everything's
very
a multiverse.
much.
It can go.
The multiverse of Final Fantasy.
It can go very wrong. It can go super wrong. I don't know.
It could.
People, I don't want to get too into spoilers about it, but Final Fantasy X actually has a bit of that in Final Fantasy X too.
Oh, interesting.
And people don't love it. They don't love it.
Oh.
It's not a bad game, but they don't love that aspect of it because it gets a little bit into some weird timey-wimey bullshit. And this is feeling a little similar to me personally.
Gotcha. Yeah. That being said, I thought the ending fight with Sephiroth was gorgeous, and
Beautiful.
the music is just
The game is beautiful.
I was
One-
waiting
it's
the
such a-
whole fucking game for that song, that one winged angel song. God damn.
Yeah.
I think I knew that song was a thing, and I waited the entire original game. They don't play that song until your very last encounter with Sephiroth.
And that's another interesting thing I think about is this game puts Sephiroth in it very quickly. In this, you do not really engage or talk or even know much about Sephiroth, any part of the Midgar section in the original game. Like that is not a thing yet. We don't start having flashbacks until basically Nibelheim. So that's kind of just a weird situation to see that happen. But they were like, no, we want to set the roots for this I guess they knew this game's going to take a long time to come out with the next one. So like, we want to set the roots for Sephiroth really quickly. We know that's a fan favorite character. We know people love him. So we want to put those roots in there. Cause that was quick. They were like, I felt like it was like maybe like the first 2 hours. They were like, oh, I fucking hate Sephiroth. There he is looking me in the face and my eyes. And I was like, oh,
fire.
Why is he looking me in my eyes, bro? Who the fuck is this guy? It's really
and why is he so sexy?
Yeah, why is he so fucking pretty? No, fuck him. No,
voiced by Superman, which is hilarious.
Which is so random.
One of the Supermans.
Love that for him. Good for him. Great voice actor.
I think decent voice. I mean, overall voice acting, I think is pretty great across the board. Shout out to a guy who voices Wedge. He's Badger from Breaking Bad. Wedge,
and that is
very noticeable.
The cast, they did a really good job with the cast because like Wedge, growing up, like that's how I felt. Like like that just makes sense to me. I don't know. I really love it.
Oh, question: does Jess dies in Remake? Did she die in the original?
We're not sure. Oh, she died in the original. We're not sure.
Original.
We're not sure if she died in Remake. They're kind of.
Are we not?
Are we not?
There's a trailer.
I mean,
the trailer shows something that we're.
Yes, there is.
For Rebirth. In Rebirth?
Who knows?
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. That's there's a trailer around that. But yeah, she does die in the original. She dies real quick.
Oh, okay.
She gets fucking smashed. Yeah, it's they both her, Wedge, and
I thought that was
Biggs.
a change. I didn't know that she died, so I was surprised when I didn't remember that she died in the original. So I was surprised when she died in Remake. But she might come back. That'd be cool.
Her, Wedge, and Biggs all have off-screen deaths when the plate falls. And you're supposed to accept that, like, they all died.
Right.
Which I'm just saying right now because as you can see, Wedge, I don't believe he's dead.
Yeah, Wedge is not.
The Whispers
Wedge
got
is
him. It's
definitely not
fine.
dead.
Biggs, when his ass showed up at the end alive again, I was like, if y'all don't bring Jesse back, I will riot. And you bring Biggs, I would swap him. I don't give a fuck. Take them both. I don't want Jesse back.
And that's another thing that's so funny about this game is like none of these characters fucking matter in the original game. Like you do not have. Right. I don't meet Jess's fucking mother. I don't know anything about
her. Her dad is sick, Brian.
Yeah,
her dad is sick.
Biggs runs an orphanage. I don't know these people. I just know that Biggs wants to suck my dick. Jess is really flirty, and Wedge is stupid. That's the only thing that you know in the original game. It's a little like that. Wedge is just like, oh god, he's so fucking cool. Holy shit.
I mean,
and then Jess is like, oh my god, I love doing things. And then Wedge is like, oh, I'm so dumb. And those are the characters. Those are archetypes that they have going on there. And that's all that matters. So that you don't care when they die, because you're just like, okay, fuck these idiots.
Which I love. Clearly they're named after Star Wars characters, Biggs and Wedge.
Right.
And I'm just mad that Porkins didn't make the cut somewhere in this game. I'm like, why is no one named Porkins? Come on.
Naming Wedge Porkins would have been really disrespectful. There's no way they would have gotten away with that one.
Really rude. But yeah, man. I mean, Jessie, I loved her death. I was sad, mostly in the sense I was like, damn, she died thinking she fucked up and it was her fault blowing the reactor up. If she's in fact dead, fingers crossed, justice for Jessie. But I was like, damn, that's tough. But also, this is one of those moments where it's like, it's apples and oranges comparing this to like a Last of Us in terms of acting. But her death if you try to look at it at a critical eye, is real goofy.
This whole game is really goofy. That's why I think I was most so surprised that you loved it as much as you do. Because it's goofy as hell. It's silly. It's campy.
It is.
It's hard to take serious.
And that's what's so great about it.
It's a lot of fun to play.
I'm almost glad that you played it.
Right.
I guess you were watching Attack on Titan when you were playing this, right? I wonder if that had any.
I did. Yeah.
I wonder if that had any influence around it as well. Because it's like I think there's a part of like anime as a whole that you have to accept some of the tropes. And Final Fantasy is really heavy on the anime tropes of like every single time something happens, they go. Like shit like that.
Especially with everything being voice acted, it's like really intense.
It's just like shit like that. That it's like if I didn't already know what anime was like, I'd feel really uncomfortable listening to some of the voice acting of this game. So like, I don't know. I think you might have had a new appreciation that maybe you wouldn't have felt otherwise. But I also you played Kingdom Hearts, so I guess you just always should have been watching anime. You've just been missing out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think Kingdom Hearts was this anime though.
Oh.
There is some. But
it wasn't like this.
My brother in Christ, have you seen those intro sequences?
That's true. That's what hooked me. That's just anime. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to rattle off? I'm gonna end mine with just rattling off some of my favorite moments. And honestly, because I haven't looked at this note since probably a year ago, and some of these notes are making me laugh. They're just making me remember parts of the game that I'm like, oh wow. I do have a question though. Is that Roach fight the motorcycle race in the original?
No,
that's not Roach even a character.
No. Roach is a completely new character. Doesn't exist.
Oh really? Yes. He's not even in it at all.
And I'm kind of disappointed they didn't put him in there a little bit more because he was an interesting character. I enjoyed him a lot.
He's pretty cool.
He's in and out.
He's very Organization 13-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought if you're gonna introduce a new character, he's gonna be.
I was hoping
integral.
we'd meet more like one-off soldier characters.
Yeah.
In that same fashion. Maybe we will in the other ones.
Yeah. So it's interesting that Reno and Rude were so big in that, but then they had Roach, and then they didn't introduce him more after that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Let me see what I got here. Very first note I wrote, this story is very confusing. I should have started with the first Final Fantasy. I'm hilarious. I wrote because I think it's Roach who calls Cloud Soldier Boy.
Yes.
I just wrote Soldier Boy, you.
He takes off his motorcycle. You ain't that soldier. You.
But again, just how horny that dude. He wants to fuck Cloud. Everyone wants to fuck this little boy.
And that's such an anime-esque thing of like, oh, I really enjoyed our battle. We got to do this again sometime. And it's like, all right, brother, this feels sexual for no reason. I just beat your ass and now you're like excited and horny over it. I don't like this.
Yeah. I love how again, this is the anime thing where it's like, it's just funny where they're like, we're looking for these people. And it's like, if you find them, if you see them, let authorities know. It's like, this big motherfucker with a machine gun for an arm. He's just standing there like, oh, no one should see me.
Barrett is 6'8", black, 395 pounds of pure muscle with 3% body fat, with his fucking shirt cut in half, with a machine gun arm. You're like, I've never seen him before. Don't know who he is.
Really,
everyone around them looks like a normal human, and then it's just the most gorgeous and ridiculous looking people on the planet.
And that's kind of funny about it, because like you can even tell like the way they did not put any effort into the background characters of this game. They look like shit in this game. They look so bad. Some of the characters,
some of them look pretty bad.
Yeah, I was walked up on them, I was like, God damn, you're ugly as shit. What happened? And then I'm over here pretty as hell with the beautiful arms.
I can see fucking Cloud and Tifa's pores.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see all the glows in their like eyelids and shit. But then I'm talking to, I don't know, Jeff number 3, and he looks like a PlayStation 2 character.
Oh man, yeah, that was pretty great. This note got me hilarious. It's right when the plate's falling. I just wrote in all caps, "Who the fuck is this cat with a crown?" Because out of nowhere, out of completely fucking nowhere, never comes back ever again. There's just I know who it is now, but there's just a cat that runs to the edge of the screen and just falls to their knees and is like,
shit.
No! I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah,
what is this?
That was pretty
this whole universe has been sort of normal up until this point, and now there's a weird talking cat with a crown. I was so confused.
Another one of those situations where it's like I think they wanted to set up too early because they knew they weren't releasing another game for a while. They're like, we got to make people excited. Show a character they won't see for a long time. It reminds me of the first episode of Pokemon where they show Ho-Oh. A character, a Pokemon that's not even on the Pokedex yet at the time, and it was like, who the fuck is that? No. And you don't see him again for the next like 200 episodes. Yeah, he's not even the first. He's not even original 151 Pokemon, but you see him in the very beginning of the first episode, and it's
the first episode. Damn.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, they planned that shit.
Yeah, I know, maybe. So it's one of those situations. Like, well, I don't give a fuck about that cat guy.
Maybe he was, and maybe in Pokemon they just wrote him as an owl.
Probably. I don't think they plan to make that an actual Pokemon. They're like, we need to put him as a legendary Pokemon. Make him a whole thing. But yeah, there was
the legendary guy. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was no reason to show Kate Sith in that situation.
It was so funny.
And I wish they hadn't done it because it adds nothing to his character arc.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I was just like,
he's also just the worst. Aside, like story aside, he is the worst. He's so fucking annoying. And his moveset's garbage.
He's not a very good character to play. I usually don't have him in there. So I didn't.
That's funny.
He stayed at home. He had the worst armor and the worst materia.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't use him in Rebirth.
Nope.
I would say I'm excited to see what he's like in Rebirth. I haven't gotten to
I'm
that
probably
yet.
still going to use fucking Tifa and Yuffie. And that's going to be my party.
Yeah.
Maybe Vincent.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. Vincent's OP.
I wrote, did Wedge really just die trying to save his cats? That's commitment.
He's just like me for real.
Also, if Wedge died, his cats would absolutely be eating him by now.
No, correct.
Marlene's mom is a big question mark for me still. I think Rebirth might answer that for me. I think I got it. It's in a trailer.
I don't know.
How do you not know?
Oh, really?
I don't remember.
That's a pretty. It's a big plot point.
I had a whole baby since I finished that game.
That's so funny. You'll find out in Rebirth for sure. You'll understand.
Because I saw that, I was like, "Who the fuck is her mom? What the fuck is going on?
Why is she Asian? But he's black."
I'm so confused.
No,
honestly, there was a split second where I was like, "Yo, did him and Tifa have a love child?" And no one's saying anything.
It's definitely not Tifa.
It's not.
I'm pretty sure. I'll text Brian later. I'm pretty sure I know the Spark Notes version of the situation.
You'll find it out in Rebirth for sure. That'll definitely be a plot point.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever play Rebirth. At least not anytime soon. I don't have disposable income to buy up a whole console right now.
PS6 will come out next year, so PS5 will be on sale.
I love how you can turn into a frog. Like an enemy will do something, you'll turn into a frog, but you still have a Buster Sword as a frog, and it's pretty hilarious. I love shit like that. It's so goofy. I don't know if you guys did this. I did this because I saw a spoiler, and so I did it. You can still, like the original game, climb all 59 floor levels of the Shinra building at the end.
I think I told you about that because I did it.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it too.
I walked up every single one of them.
Do you get a trophy?
I got to the top. I was like,
you do not get a trophy.
You don't. It was a total waste of fucking time.
But you do get really good voice lines, especially around Barrett, because Barrett is really slow. Because it tells you what floor each person is on, and Barrett cannot keep up. He is not in good shape.
Like you see like a mini map of where they are, and Barrett's always like 5 floors below everyone else.
And it's just funny because he has the best one-liners. It's just like because when you kill someone, he goes dun 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 dun.
Yes, I loved that.
So him like trying to like hype himself up as he's just failing trying to get up these stairs.
Yeah,
it's really good. I think it was the best decision I could have made when playing this game. Was going up all the stairs.
It's really good. But this does bring me to one point. I do have to make a criticism of. I hate when games do this, where I'm in the last stretch of the game, or at least it feels like I am, and then they just make me walk super slow and get a bunch of fucking exposition and lore. When you're in the Shinra building and you go to that museum, I'm like, what are we doing, guys? I feel like I'm 40 minutes from the end, but I'm not because I'm walking through this building.
Funnily enough,
at fucking. Oh.
I have not beaten the game because that's where I ended up at. And then I said,
"Oh my god, Brian!"
Shit.
And then I started playing. I know the ending because I've known it for a while now. But I started playing Power World because I started getting a little fatigued at that point. And then Power World came out, and then I was like, "Shit, that's gonna stop me from playing this game for a while." And I just haven't had a chance to revisit it since then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
I was in a similar boat. I mentioned it took me another 2 years or so to finally finish it this past weekend. But yeah, I feel like I remember when I was first playing it, I felt like I was in the moment where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fight Sephiroth. I'm gonna be entering the last little cutsceneable like moment. The characters are all like, okay, this is like, there's no turning back now. I'm like, all right, this is the last save file. Let me get this. Let me get healed up. Here we go. And then it's just more bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember feeling the exact same way in the original Final Fantasy VII game, at least 5 different times.
Yes.
At one point, I realized I was only 2/3 of the way, and I had a whole nother third act to go through.
I think that's the worst part about not having discs. Is because, like, if you had discs, you would know that you're about to put the third disc in when you get to that. Because I know almost exactly what point you're talking about. That I felt the same way, and it's like, oh, there's a whole another third of the game, and I knew when it said, please insert disc 3, and I was like, shit.
Oh no,
it's particularly funny because I'll talk to my wife about what I'm playing sometimes, and playing both of them, it was a little bit hard to keep up with, maybe for her. I'm not really sure. But at one point, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm almost finished with the original. Like I'll be done like tonight probably." And then the next morning, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not finished. I got another 10, 20 hours. I don't even know." And then same thing with this one. So every time I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to fight the final boss." I'm like, "I'm almost done." She's like, "You said that already. Like you're not gonna finish this game ever." But we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We're here.
Let's go.
We made it.
I love that.
I'm trying not to get too spoilery for Brian stuff, even though he said he's seen it. I will say, man,
Brian doesn't even know what happens.
I know what
the
happens.
game better let me do
He doesn't
this,
even know
but
who Zach is.
I can't wait. And if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be pissed to fucking just execute Hojo. That dude is the absolute scum of the earth.
Another character.
If they did a great job of creating just a slimy bad guy, because he's
a lot slimier with the voice.
Yes, that was another character that I think they voice acted perfectly.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I thought of him. I was like, oh, I'm the guy that's gonna do the thing. And yep, you hit it right down the head.
I can't remember how he meets his end, but
I can't wait.
Yeah, I think I kind of do. Yeah,
I remember.
Oh no. I just wrote The Lion Talks. Talking about Red 13 when that first happened.
He's a character. I can't remember if I liked his voice. I think his voice
because it's
he was
weird,
a little bit
weird
less
world.
Cool. I didn't care for his voice. It sounded like Cloud putting on a voice. Honestly, I wondered if they were the same voice actor.
I think they might have played around it too quickly because there's something about it that you see him a couple of times in the original game, and he like runs away or whatever, which I think he still does in this game. But something about it just doesn't feel the same way because you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? is that a lion with red hair? And then he's like, "Hey, it's me, Cloud. What's going on, buddy?" And it's what the fuck? What the fuck's happening?
So funny.
Yeah,
it's such a weird. Because again, like it's like a weirdly grounded universe from the start, and now it's just like chaos.
Yes.
And I think Rebirth's gonna get even weirder. Like I know there's a fucking
sure.
vampire in there. I was like, what the fuck is what is this world? This is what I'm talking about. This is where it might throw me. Who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen.
And stuff too.
Oh.
Yep.
It goes so off the rails, man. You are not prepared for where this game goes.
I'm not.
The golden saucer.
A lot of They did talk about a lot about some ancient. I got a lot of ancients lore and Aerith and a lot of this shit. By the end, I was like, does Hojo want to put a Sephiroth baby in Aerith?
Yeah.
Is that the plan? I don't know.
I asked you a little
This
bit.
is all weird.
What are his
shit.
goals? Yeah.
I asked you a little bit like off cam, like maybe like when I was first starting to play through it, like how you felt about the ancient stuff, and you said you were into it because I definitely think they front loaded it a little bit more in this game than they do. They do not talk about it that early.
I imagine
in the
right,
original.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's interesting because that makes
some
plot points make more sense already.
And it's painting a bit of a picture for me that I'm interested in, just seeing how it all kind of goes down. Also, Aerith's mom died in the street. I was like, what happened? No one helped her? Okay, that's weird. Anyways. I'm not gonna lie, I was real mad when Sephiroth killed President Shinra because I was like, I wanted to do that.
I would like
just out of nowhere. That and this is again going with Brian's thing. I was honestly slightly convinced Barrett was dead for a split second when Sephiroth just straight up stabs him. I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then the whispers save him. I'm like, oh, it's because he's not supposed to die.
Yeah, and
At
I
least not
hate
here.
it.
So
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
hate
that doesn't
it.
even
Interesting.
really happen at all in
Interesting.
the original, right?
I don't believe he gets stabbed at all.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Sephiroth isn't
Interesting
even
stuff.
like there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He stabbed
Yeah,
somebody,
so I thought all
but
of
not
that
Barry.
was
And not that sin.
interesting. Yeah. Shout out to Cloud. I'm pretty sure he tells Sephiroth to bring it on, bitch, which was really funny. Oh, this was a cool thing that I didn't notice until my second playthrough. The last boss fight against Sephiroth. Alex, you'll know more than Brian because you played it. So you have your party and you fight, and then at one point, one party member shows up to help you fight Sephiroth. Alex, do you remember who it was for you?
Oh, does this change based on some things you've done?
Yes, I didn't. So it's only
Tifa
based
was
on the
never there. It was, I think, Aerith came and then Barrett came, but not Tifa.
Interesting. Yeah. So for me, it was Aerith first, then Tifa came, and then
He said,
Barrett
"Fuck
and Red
Barrett."
13 show up at the end. Yeah, I don't. I never use him. He's too slow. I like quick characters.
You're
I
all,
like
no,
the
man.
quicker
You can make him
Um,
a tank. Give him nothing but health upgrades, and that man is a fucking
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barrett's pretty
He
dope.
definitely has the most health. But no, I didn't know this, and until I looked it up, I literally Googled it because I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Because on my second playthrough, Tifa showed up first, and I was like, "Whoa!" I thought this was like a cutscene everyone got, but like, but depending on who in that final fight, you have to fight some phantoms, blah blah blah, and depending on who like does the most damage during those fights, of your party members, will determine who will show up to help you
Oh,
in the
wow.
Sephiroth
Well,
fight.
for me, it's gonna be
And so you can,
it's gonna be Tifa for me because
yeah.
How the hell was Aerith putting out that much damage? I guess they were like element. I was casting a lot of spells.
Yeah.
My gameplay so far has been how to win the game. Pick Tifa. Tifa does so much damage. I've kidded her.
She's fucking dope.
Yeah.
She's dope. But yeah,
I thought it was like
so I was
based
like,
on who was in
cool
your
shit.
party last.
No, that's what I thought too. But no, it's absolutely, it's like a point system. I'm like, damage, if you defeat one, it's like 2 points. If you assist in defeating one, it's 1 point, some shit like that.
Interesting.
But yeah, I was like, that's pretty kind of awesome.
There's a lot of little stuff
Like,
like
just-
that I found
yeah.
really interesting. That like yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. No, this game, the attention to some of the details is so interesting.
So
I
cool.
love that
It's
Bear
crazy.
didn't even show up in your shit because you were like, I don't use this motherfucker. Fuck him. I'm into the love triangle.
I'm
That's
sorry.
all I want to be here for.
I am. It's terrible. I really struggled when you have to pick who to pick up, Aerith or Tifa in the sewers. I was like, oh no, this is the moment.
Oh, shit.
no.
Who did I pick up?
This will
I think
determine.
I picked up Aerith, which is so funny because I was Tifa through and through, but this game makes me really like Aerith.
I found
like
Aerith,
Aerith, man.
I found Aerith really annoying.
Really?
Maybe it was her. Maybe it was the voice acting. Like I was just like, just shut up.
I like her because she's a dick. She's so mean to me, and I love that.
is.
Aerith, really?
Yeah.
She's just
Tifa's so
too
nice to
fucking
me.
nice.
But Aerith was always picking on me,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, she knows what I like. Yeah, that that was fucking me up for sure.
It's true, man. Yeah, I think by the end of this game, I'm an Aerith fan. I love
mean,
Tifa, but like
I'm a Jessie
I think
fan
character
through and
wise,
through, but
yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed all of that. I think that's kind of it for me.
yeah.
I know we're running super long, so I'm trying to just quickly scan any of the stuff that I got.
Take Barrett on the date. Don't take Tifa or Aerith. Fuck
We'll see.
You get a whole
Oh, this
achievement
is
for
funny.
it.
This is really
Nice.
funny based on when I started playing this game. I wrote, "This makes Forspoken look bad."
Yes.
Ooh.
Clearly, that was when
I
that
forgot
game was
about
coming
that
out. Yeah, I think that's it. We talked about the honeybee section and all that stuff, all the dresses that you can get for Tifa and Aerith. My goodness, Japan, you're out of your mind.
They should not have done the dance section. It's so goofy and does not make any sense in context, but I loved it. I made an edit on it. I might send it to y'all.
It's
Yeah,
really?
I made a little
Please
edit
do.
on with
Please
Ice
do.
Spice in the background of
Oh
me.
shit!
Oh,
Yeah, please
no.
send that.
Yes, please. I think that's kind of all I got. Yeah, and I'll just briefly talk about the Yuffie DLC. Yuffie is, I don't know how she's gonna be in Rebirth, but she is OP.
She's
as
the
fuck
best character in the
this
game, from what I've heard.
She's fucking amazing, dude. Holy fuck, she's awesome to play as. Her and her sidekick Sonon. I'm not gonna spoil nothing about what happens. It's a pretty cool story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It takes place simultaneously as a section in Remake. But it's cool. It was a cool little intro to Yuffie. I like her. She's spunky. She's funny. And yeah, she's just strong as fuck. And again, I like a quick character, and she's a fucking ninja, so she's dope. She's dope.
It's funny because I did not like her in the original game. I usually took her out because as a thief, she just, I don't know, she wasn't doing the damage I needed her to do. So
No, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
I liked her, but probably because I knew her first from Kingdom Hearts, and she was pretty cool character in Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
But in Final Fantasy VII, the original, she's a pretty annoying, like, hindrance. Like, she steals from you, like Cloud and the party. She like fucks shit up before before you enlist her to hang out with you guys. And all her dialogue is pretty annoying. She like gets seasick. She throws up.
She feels every bit.
She's like 14.
Yeah, but
she feels an annoying little kid.
She feels every bit of 15 in the original game. Yeah, for sure. She's really annoying.
But I liked her moveset, and I found ways to make her like she's got like a range optional, so she can get like up close and be at range, which I enjoyed for like that bit of tactical turn-based stuff.
Yeah.
But she was never in Midgar, and well, you never hear about her in Midgar in the original, so that's another little cool change.
Yeah, she is an optional character, which I find really interesting. You can completely not get Yuffie or Vincent in Final Fantasy VII, though they're both optional characters that you have to stumble across in different ways in order to recruit them to your team.
Wow, that's
now they're integral. She has a whole DLC.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. My last two things, I forgot. Corneo is gross. I can't wait to. He's like right next to Hojo in terms of people I want to see just get out. Dip. Can't wait to see.
What happens to him either.
He just dips. He runs away. He gets away when you have to fight the thing in the sewers. He just runs away.
He's one of those kind of people.
I was pissed.
Yeah, they can just, I'm away, bitch.
Yeah, I don't think he dies. I think he comes back in Final Fantasy VIII.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I know he's... Well, wait, what?
I'm just kidding. But
I'm mad that got me.
I don't remember him dying in the original game. I don't know what happened to him.
I can't remember either, to be honest.
I feel like he's still out there.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he's in Rebirth. He's in the trailer. So he's going to be back in this one. And then, I just got to shout out Madam M and Scarlet, because Japan, what are you doing? My God. Okay.
Scarlet was... oh, God.
Scarlet's ridiculous. Yeah. Scarlet's ridiculous. Everyone's hot in this game. Yes, everyone. Yes. The hottest being Sephiroth. We all know it.
Also correct. Factually.
Yeah, man, I love it. We could talk about this forever, but we already have been talking about it forever, so we should probably end this. But like, there's even funny lines. Like, it's just so well done. I love it.
Fucking, there's one time after he does the dance with what's his face in Sector 6, and then Aerith is like, "Oh my God!" And he's like, "I know, killed it. Next question."
Yes. Oh my God. It's like shit like that. It's so fucking good. That and the other one that I just remembered was it's towards the end after you find Red 13 and Shinra surrounds you, and what is it? They're like, "Look, we've got them surrounded," or something like that. Oh, I just saw it. Yes, and so like they go by like it's like, "No, that's not who we are." Like, "Who are we?" And Barrett says, "Avalanche." Aerith goes, "Local florist," and Red 13 goes, "Lab rat dog."
that was pretty good.
I think Cloud calls him that later. I was like, God, it's just so campy, but it's just so, it's the right amount. It's just so well done.
I literally have a bunch of things on my hard drive just saved of just funny moments that I went through around that. Like the fucking, "That's the Shinra Creed!" And they all start clapping.
Yeah.
Just little shit like that is so funny to me.
That fucking, yes, nailed it. Can we move on? That was so good. That was so good. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And
it has so much heart.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense with the creative director and of at least this first one, and more hands off in Rebirth is the guy that fucking gave us Kingdom Hearts. So it's like, it makes total fucking sense. You know, ugh, love it so much, and we'll see if it continues with Rebirth. We'll talk about that when. What's the last one gonna be called? Something. It can't be. I honestly thought it was gonna be Reunion. But I think they called Crisis Core Reunion that. So I was like, oh, I don't know what it's gonna be
Do
called.
we know what have they said?
I feel like they had. No. Did they not?
No, they kept it a secret.
Oh, damn.
We do not know what that last one's gonna be called.
Redo.
It might be.
Yeah, how many ways can they? Yeah, what else can
it
they?
It is a Japanese company. So.
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
I don't know.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean that's Final Fantasy VII Remake / at least that coverage of the OG game. Thank you for listening to this very long section, listeners. But man, what a good game! What a fucking good game! Like I've said in the past, this has made my PlayStation Hall of Fame, where it's just on the drive at all times now. It doesn't go away. It's earned its place. It might take over again. It was close to taking over God of War Ragnarok's shout out.
Yeah, stop talking about that one. That'll do. We'll take it.
Yes. That's it for me. Is that it for you guys in terms of Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yeah. Solid game.
Alrighty. Well then, listeners, go play it. Play Rebirth. It's out now. It's great. That means we can move on to our final section of the week, and we can welcome back our friend Devin. All right, guys, it is time for Free for All title pending. This is a segment, listeners, and we kind of do whatever we want. Talk about our day, talk about life, fight, rant, nap. It is Free for All, but also first, Devin is back. He's back again from his hiatus. Mm-hmm. He had to dip out for some Final Fantasy talk, but he's back for Free for All.
Yeah, no spoilers. I gotta play it someday.
Yeah, I can very quickly go first. Because guys, I didn't have much time this weekend. I was very busy. But you could be damn sure I made a couple hours of my day to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I definitely fucking played that this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, I haven't even gotten to the open world. That's how little I played of the game so far. Wow. I think I maybe played like 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I'm very curious how it starts. How it starts and how it ends are like the biggest things that I want to see.
The start, I definitely surprised me. Definitely fucking surprised me. It was very cool. But no spoilers. I'm not gonna say nothing. Yeah, I'm not gonna take much time because there's not much for me to say. But I'm just fucking excited to get into it. Like I played I played 2 sessions. So the first time I played like a little bit of the opening, and then the next like 2 days later, I had a little bit of time to play it, and I played it for way too long. And I was just like, I just want to get to the open world because I feel like it's coming up. And it just kept going. I was like, oh, fuck. I have to stop now. I have to do other things. I have other responsibilities to do. But, man, it's good. I've already gotten a little bit of, like, some relationship type of, like, a party member status questions where it's, like, they give you some choices. And, like, based on your choices, apparently, you can make your party members like you more or not. And that will affect... This isn't a spoiler because everyone's been waiting for this. This will affect on who you can take on the date later in the game, apparently.
Hey, gotta pick Barrett, baby.
You can pick Barrett? Can you pick
Barrett, baby?
I thought it was just
you couldn't the OG one.
Oh, yeah. It was just between Tifa and Aerith, right? In the original?
Oh, in the original, you can pick Barrett. Yeah, that's a choice.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. You can take Barrett
I think
on
in this
the,
one,
on
you
the
can
date.
take any of them. I think you could take fucking... Red 13.
I was about to say, I don't want Red 13 on a fucking date. He's weird.
You can take the red dog.
I don't want Kate Sith to come with me.
No,
Guys,
Kate Sith
I think you can also do that as well.
He's never coming in the party.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited to hop in and continue. Man. I'm terrified to how long it's gonna take me to actually beat this game. But we'll see, because I think I put in like 50 some hours. 54 hours, I think, was my end time for a remake.
Oh, I thought you meant this weekend.
No.
He did not sleep.
I was like, bro, and you didn't get to the opening
I'm actually
yet?
playing right now as well. I've done that thing that Doctor Strange can do where he can kind of like just, he can go out of his body. So my body's playing it. You're talking to my soul.
That sounds useful. That's handy.
But yeah, and just based off whatever I've heard is like this game is so much bigger than Remake. So, oh boy. In for a haul. I'm sorry to every other game that I have. I'm in the middle of beating, and I don't know when I'm gonna get back to you. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I don't know when you're gonna get played again, dude. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to me, because I don't get to play it, because I have a PC. and I might not get it for a year, and that sucks. I hope they'll do it sooner than that.
I don't know if I'll ever get it.
Oh.
I got a MacBook and a PlayStation 4. I don't see either of those happening.
It's rough out here.
Unless someone wants to give me $700.
Yes, that would be very nice, right?
But yeah, I mean, great. I'm excited. I'm excited. Final Fantasy, man, it's all around me. I just hope I can't. By the time I get to beat it, I don't get whatever happens in it spoiled.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just spoil it for myself in a few months or so.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. Shout out to God of War Ragnarok. Who's next?
Boo! I can go next. I'm trying to get back on my train of watching movies. You guys know that I was trying to do a thing where I watch a movie every week. That died very quickly during the holidays, unfortunately. Also, ADHD, it's gonna get me every time. Every time it's gonna get me, baby. So I'm trying to get back on that train because I want to watch more movies just as a whole. And to be fair, I've been going to the movie theaters more, which I've gone to the movie theaters more in 1 year than I've been in probably 12.
That's dope.
But anyway, once every Thursday, I try to watch a movie. This has actually been a few Thursdays ago, but I actually watched a movie called Promising Young Woman. I don't know if you've heard about this movie.
That sounds familiar,
Yeah.
It was produced by Margot Robbie, directed by Emerald Fennell. Yeah, and written by her as well.
Mhm.
This is a movie about girl power and revenge in one of the most intense ways I can think of it. Plot without spoilers, basically. It's about a young woman named Cassie. She's like 30, lives with her parents, dropped out of med school, kind of getting her life back together. And one of the reasons that she's kind of struggling with her life is because she's going through a lot of trauma that dealt around her best friend committing suicide. Her best friend committed suicide because she was sexually assaulted in like college, I believe, was when it happened. And she just like doesn't forgive what happened in that situation because, of course, as we know in a lot of those cases, convictions don't happen. That's a big thing that's very real world, that when that happens, people usually walk free, and that's really shitty. And that's why a lot of people don't report. It's a whole big thing. It's a really big issue. So because of that, she's kind of taking it to her own hands to kind of like, I want to bring people to justice that do things like this. So her big thing is she likes to go out to bars and clubs, appear to be very, very drunk, have a man try to, and then be like, yo, you know what the fuck you're doing? That's fucked up. And then watching men squirm and scream and cry about like, I'm not that kind of person. Interesting. But she goes in that, she meets the guy that's like, that she knows that committed this, atrocity. And then it kind of, the movie goes from there. Bo Burnham's in this movie for some fucking reason.
Oh shit!
And he does pretty well. I honestly, he could have a promising acting career. He's kind of been in like some things back and forth. I think he was a co-creator on like 8th Grade, that movie that came out in like 2020, which was, I didn't like it, but it was a decent movie. Whatever. He's got some acting chops. But yeah, this is a movie that is very black comedy in a lot of ways, but also tells a really good story. I liked and hated it. I loved some of the like girl boss aspects of it, while also really disliking. It gets a little long, it's a little lengthy, and it gets a little too far away from the point. And then also, I hate the ending. I hate the ending because it's so damn realistic. And I won't go into spoilers about it, but goddamn, it pisses me off.
Dang.
You can make your own assumptions around that. But yeah, I do think it's a movie worth watching for anybody that kind of, has, I don't want to say interest about the space, but like questions about kind of what happens there and just kind of want to feel like what it's like to be on that side of like, women don't win this kind of stuff. And we need to have more conversations about those issues and kind of further understand the root causes.
Absolutely.
It's powerful.
It's a movie that's been on my list for a long time. I already know the twist that Brian's talking about and everything and stuff like that, and the ending. But I still really want to fucking see this movie.
Yes, I would definitely recommend it if you're something that's been on your radar, because it is a powerful movie that'll make you feel things for sure.
Yeah,
that's really great. I don't think I had heard about that one before.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I didn't know exactly what it was about, but that does sound very, very intriguing.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that came out awkwardly in like 2020. So when no one was watching movies.
Oh wow, I didn't.
So that was probably a big reason. Yeah,
that's cool.
We weren't watching movies, but we were all watching movies.
Right. I was watching Love Is Blind.
Speaking of movies that make you feel something, I also watched a new movie for the first time. Well, not for the first time. It's a movie that came out a long time ago that I watched for the first time a few weeks ago. That movie is High School Musical.
What the fuck?
And you know what?
We're all in this
Pretty
together.
Yeah, the one and only.
Wow.
Bambi's been wanting
Mr.
to.
Zac Efron?
Yeah, Zac Efron. Even though he's not singing in it, I found out Bambi knew all of the facts, so it was fun to watch with her.
Yeah, he didn't start singing until the second one, I think.
Yeah, I think the second one
no,
they
he got some lessons.
ADR'd his voice because the
That's hilarious.
creators didn't like it. I guess I don't really know. I mean, everybody's lip syncing, but him. It's just somebody else doing his singing, which is hilarious. But yeah, it was pretty fun to watch. It was cool to see Zac Efron in particular. I feel like everybody is a lot older now, obviously, but he's kind of like the breakout actor that has done so many other big things after that. But yeah, it was like going into a little time capsule. It was like a mid 2000s film, and the rolling backpacks, the frosted tip hairstyles. All the wardrobe and like slang and communication and stuff, the cell phones. It was just like, man, this is hilarious. I feel like I'm in middle school or like early high school. I can't remember when it came out for me, but it was a good time.
I love movies like that. Yeah. It's just a time capsule and takes you back to nostalgia. It's so good.
It feels very Degrassi adjacent and just its corniness.
Yeah, very, very corny. I didn't know exactly what to expect. I kind of turned my nose at it at the time when I was a kid. I was like, I'm too cool for this. Like I'm above this.
Same. I definitely did that too.
But watching it as an adult, I was like, this is just
you know,
like
me
harmless,
too. I didn't watch
harmless
it.
good
I
time.
I didn't watch all three and have them on DVD box sets.
Yeah.
No way.
I still haven't seen the third one because I was that was when I was at that point. I was like, I don't care. And I also hear it's not as good. So
I wonder what I would have thought, but I feel like I enjoy it more now when I don't have to take things so seriously. Like it's not that big of a deal if I can enjoy a silly movie. But yeah, good time.
I can imagine Alex back then. Christopher Nolan would never direct anything like this.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
If it's not Star Wars or a high drama Academy Award film, I wasn't interested.
Oh man, that's great.
Pretty silly stuff. But then I saw so many garbage films in theaters too. It didn't make any sense. I'm talking about you, Dragon Ball Z.
You saw that in theaters? Ooh, damn.
That's another conversation, though.
Dragon Ball Evolution. Woo.
Evolution, yeah.
That reminds me of another, like, I don't know why this was trending recently, but I saw like multiple clips of this. It's like Disney Channel original basketball movie with like these two like twin sisters.
Oh, I know. That movie's good.
The final shot of
double
the movie,
jump.
She does this like thing where she like pivots
double
her
dribble.
feet. Like she's kind of like kneading her feet on the ground.
Oh.
Wait, first of all, there's 6 seconds on the clock. She does this for about 25 seconds.
I remember that scene.
She does a terrible like drop the shoulder,
Head
jukes
fake.
the other way,
Slow
drives to the
motion.
basket, makes the worst pass of all time to her sister. Okay, like the pass is off. It's not even to her chest. The pass is like low and bad. The sister has to.
Isn't it behind the back?
She has to jack up a bad shot and then makes it. But like, you know, I mean, she makes it. But it's like all of that. Like, it was funny because the memes around it were like, you know, like just breaking down like basketball IQ. Like, this is a terrible play. Like, this would never work. Like, you know, all of this for a terrible pass. Like, this is awful.
Yeah, the pumping of the knees never really made sense to me.
Oh my God, it was so lame. But she's white, so I mean that's about all. You know.
There's a few movies that have situations like that are equally as despicable.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Somehow Air Bud is more believable than that movie.
Yo, Air Bud fucks. I don't give a damn. I love that movie.
I think Air Bud probably had a better chance of actually scoring a game winning goal or a game winning basket than that girl with that move, because that was terrible. Anyway, that could be my free for all, I guess. I went on the rant for a long time.
I appreciate that.
I like how this podcast sometimes just becomes a place where we can just vent about shit in the past that we wanted to talk about.
Stuff we're really holding on to.
And I appreciate it. You know, I like the outlet.
Mm-hmm. Disney Channel original movies, man, they were a different kind.
They don't make them like they used
don't
to.
make
I don't
them
think
like
they
that
make them at
anymore.
all anymore, actually.
Oh, does Disney Channel still
I don't know if
exist?
they
It's just Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I
Sad.
guess so.
Disney
I don't
Plus
know.
films.
Weird.
No more
Weird.
wand. No more wand.
No.
Nope.
Not drawing shit. Anyway,
Yeah, who's next? I don't even know.
I think that's it.
That's it, isn't
all
it?
of
That's
it.
the show, guys.
Oh, that's really it, Devin? That's yours? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay, then. Sounds great. All right. Well, then, listeners, that is our show for the week. Don't forget, you can email us at thefortress@gmail.com, fortress.four for field of email us any feedback, questions, recommendations, or anything like that. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Follow the 3 Bollywood R's. Rate, review, and recommend us to anyone and everyone you know. Thank you, Jackie, for helping out at the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art, Alex for the music, and Devin, thank you for being here even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at ITZ_, by the way. Alex at Peterson Phillips at Devin. You can find him at Disney Channel Original Movie Fan #1. Except for that one scene at the end of the basketball movie.
Yep.
It's a really long handle.
My supernova girl.
I haven't seen High School Musical, but I will be giving a full analysis, a full in-game analysis of Zac Efron and him, I assume, singing during a basketball game, which cannot be helping his triple-double attempt.
That's a good time, man.
That's got to be your next week.
Good time.
Yeah. All right, next week, listeners, Dune Part 2.
Spice.
And as the spice will flow. Next week, listeners, yes. And as usual, happy holidays and put a code on. It's code out there.
Sure. Sometimes it's cool.
It was a nice day today, and I appreciate that. I'm ready. I'm over fucking
day
the cold, man.
Yeah.
I'm sick
ready
of
to
it.
have my asshole out again, baby.
Whoa.
Heal me,
Alright.
warm weather. Don't
there.
say.
And with that
whoa,
note,
wait a
listeners, we will see you here next week on another episode in the Fortress of.
This is a children's show.
They said, whoa.
This is for families.